Okay, so it's been a while, and we wanted to say hello and let you guys know we had a meetup here. Dennis from Ben Salem, George from North Carolina, South Carolina,
North Carolina.
one of the Carolinas. Keep it ambiguous, and
Oh yeah, that's true.
and
Anonymity.
it was really fun. Like they brought their boys, and I was sick as a dog the whole time. But okay, and this is where during the summers I almost never get sick, but I was laid flat, so I wasn't able to hang out as much as I had wanted. But it was great for our families to be together and just to put faces to like I've talked to Dennis a few times on the phone, but one thing he had asked, and I think this is a great idea. He's like, because you got sort of a way to put feelers out, he's like, why don't you try to get people in connection with other people locally? And I was like, that's a great idea.
People.
So him, for example, he's got a few families in the Bucks County area. I'm not supposed to say that other one. Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
Right, because you already said it twice.
Did I?
That's a pretty
Well, that's
big
because
town,
I finally remembered that town. It was on the news because somebody was destroying a 5G tower.
Did he say he didn't want you to say it?
Yeah, it did. Well, not. He said say Bucks County. Shit. Well, whatever. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can't go back. It's a minute and 39 seconds.
Okay, so and that has long been something we've loved to do, is try and connect people who are close to each other.
Right.
I must say, I don't know that it's worked. And maybe the people from Texas that can tell me. I made a Texas email list of like 5 people that were in Eastern Texas. I don't know. Did you guys ever talk to each other?
Yeah. Well, I will say that our friends down Southern Maine sent us bakery items and stuff. So it's not like we...
Oh, but yeah, we have relationships with people. But I mean, connecting other people... Well, somebody else, you said another lady said she was in the mid-coast.
Well, how about within comments, you guys, if you want to
oh yeah,
figure
just
that
say
out.
I'm in whatever state and
yeah,
people in
yeah,
state.
and I don't know how, I'm not good at this, at doing that, and we
can still be the connecting piece if that helps. Like you say, hey, we want to talk to each other and we're both in New Jersey, and then like you email us and say, hey, Susie just said this, and then she's going to send you my email. Because you know how maybe not, you don't want to put your email on YouTube.
Well, and I'll say this, talking to Dennis, there's a wealth of knowledge about Little Caesar stuff. And he is Ukrainian. Mm-hmm. And one thing that's awesome about people that aren't from this country, or at least have some past with other countries, is they get how corrupt the governments are. They're like, oh yeah, government.
Yeah,
of course, they're full of crap.
Of course, yeah.
And so to come here and go, oh yeah, of course we don't trust the government. That's like just normal living, right? As you're in Mexico, it's like, oh sure, they're all corrupt, they all lie. Mm-hmm. China, it's like my parents were over there, like it's all propaganda. But America's not, and this is where I start going down like, well, do you believe China's moon lander, or do you believe in India, their moon lander, or is that propaganda? It's like, it's a little easier to say, well, that's just not real, but ours is real. And I go, okay, so the American government is the only like trustworthy government, and you sure about that? It just starts to be
well, it's just fleshing it out fully, which could be accused of being black and white about things. But sometimes just a matter of like actually finishing the thought, which I'm
white,
guilty.
Like black and
nice
white?
one.
You like that?
Yeah. I'm guilty of that too. Like with creationism, I remember being like, I was pretty sure that evolution, dinosaurs, and things that was crock, but I didn't really like finish the thought and be like, oh, well then that means this. Well, that means this. Oh man, that means this.
Yeah. So okay, so back to update, and then we got to read a question. This is going to be about biblical cosmology, but weird mystery sort of sickness hit us. You got a thing of it, and it's weird because it's not the same for all of us. It's all kind of been different.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Started with Oh well, are we doing?
We're not doing detailed
things?
health things, but
No.
it just so if in case you guys are dealing with stuff, I don't know what's going on right now, but I usually in the summer I am never sick, and I've been laid flat for a week straight. So it was crazy, but I feel a little better now, and
Well, a lot better now.
lot
He
better.
was, yeah.
Yeah, literally
were
didn't
really,
get out
really
of bed. Yeah. Now I am pathetic when I'm sick.
You know
will
what
admit.
Marin calls that?
What?
Man flu. Man flu is way worse than any other flus. Or husband flu. Man flu? Husband flu. Oh, Marin, you cracked me up. I forgot to tell her that.
I'd like to think that I get it worse than most anybody. So I think if
that helps me too, to be like,
see,
you just have it worse than everybody else.
See, when I used to be young, I used to race the half mile, the mile.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I can hurt worse. I can make myself suffer more than anyone else.
Right.
Okay. Because I don't think I was as fast as I actually was. I just was able to push my body beyond.
Super fast. Yeah. Right? Especially for a youngin'. Yeah.
That's because I grew up in a weird cult. Okay. Oh, I did want to say this too. There's a book out called Born and Raised by Beth Granger. This is the cult. I had done a cult video one time about growing up at Grenville Christian College and its connection with the community of Jesus. But this book just came out. For any of you that want to see the type of cult stuff that's out there, or I think it's very interesting because what you'll probably do is go, oh, I knew something like that, or I was involved in something weird like that. It's a repeating theme, and it, again, to me, it all confirms Little Season stuff is like, who are these people that are starting these crazy Christian cults that are actively working to the sole purpose is to destroy your relationship with God. Mm-hmm. That's it. And is to smear Christianity and to pretend, masquerade as an angel of light, but all along destroying the faith of people, and destroyed so many people's faith. I mean, my own family, my own siblings included in that, and that's just I know that gets tricky because it's like I try not to talk too personally, but they would admit fully, yeah, they have no faith in the Bible anymore. And don't, one of the most striking things that I've heard is I didn't need somebody to die for me. Right? Kind of the simplest, most basic thing that we have to cling to is now being denied. And I think that is the result of these horrific cults. So they break people.
And that's why spiritual abuse is worse than any other kind of abuse. Yeah. Is because it has to do with.
Yeah. So if you feel like being sad.
Well, not just if you feel like being sad, but also I would say it's a really, really, really extreme version of what many people have experienced within Christianese land of guilt and manipulation having to do with belief and a lot of confusion about your own emotions connected to it all and stuff. That part, I think some of it is applicable more widely. It's not just like, whoa, look at that cult over there. It's, wow, this is a movement within churches, within church authorities to manipulate you into this and that and confuse you.
Yeah, and it's tied into politics. It's tied into the church, like you said, the highest up in the Anglican, the bishops, deacons, all of them, all sort of giving their blessing. Governors, the lieutenant governors of Ontario, high up, political offices, all tied into this school. Okay, and this is where you see connection to Rockefellers at the Community of Jesus. And one thing that I see is so clear. Rockefellers, they did a lot of evil things, but one thing was to separate families, to take children away from families. And we see that clearly with the schools, indoctrination centers, government school system. Yeah. But they did the same thing in the Christian world with these cults where they would take children out from their families, badmouth their parents, separate them, don't let them be idolatrous. and that was the story of my life, is being separated.
Because loving your child is idolatrous.
Yeah. As far as being a father, like I'm in completely new territory as far as like how to be a good dad, because what was modeled was this like cult version, and so I always feel like a terrible, like I'm just
And he
doing my
isn't
best.
at all.
Well,
But when you first processed a lot of your cult stuff, I remember saying, like, don't, you were feeling so like, I can't even be a father. Look at what has been done to me.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you, you're just going to do one step better than what was done to you.
Oh, okay.
And look at how much further you got.
Okay, good. Don't. Okay. So we're not gonna cry on this video. We don't even mean to be talking about.
Yeah.
Why did I bring this up? But born and raised, Razed, Beth Granger, if you're at all interested.
Great
Okay.
title.
So it's 10 minutes of update. Now read your email.
Okay, so then my email brought up our next topic. I thought this would be fun. We're not gonna say who this is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like your approach and manner to the subject of the little season. I have to be honest that I do struggle with some of the theories, particularly the flat earth thing. You skip some of this, right? Yeah. Doesn't work in my mind, but I'm interested in your theory on this if you're willing to share. So there's someone, he's saying he's a newer believer, and he was worried about that being a bad thing. I was like, well, you don't have all the indoctrination within Christianese land. Like, you can just sort this out.
It's a lot
from
easier.
The get-go.
Yeah.
Might be.
Yeah, it's a lot easier if you're not like coming from Ken Ham world or something, or your pastors told you about creationism or like so. You said you had
there's lots of paths.
You had a spiel, or do you want me to start?
Yeah, well, I had something. You interrupt me anytime.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking about how we've been duped into following a system a solar system that is godless from the get-go. And I don't understand why more of us Christians didn't realize that earlier, that to say we have a system even of spinning balls and orbiting and rotating is to buy into a satanic creation of the world and the solar system and the universe. And so strangely, churches and weird videos like The Privileged Planet try and work within that and do some weird like theistic evolution things and whatever, which should be a red flag to say, like, why are we trying to grab from the same people that say there is no God, we came from the Big Bang and evolution and primordial ooze? Why would we co-opt a lot of their theory and try to put a Christian stamp on it? That's kind of bogus from the beginning. So to say we're heliocentric and we're spinning and rotating and whatever, again, that's the Big Bang. That's a way to get rid of God. So we should be very hesitant to involve any of that theory just because it comes from satanic people, That was kind of some intro thoughts that I had. And then I was just going to say, we got into a lot of like flat earth movement stuff, but really now we like to simmer it down to biblical cosmology. And honestly, we have a lot of unknowns still. We don't try to solve everything about what we see, but we have some bedrock to rely on in the Bible and our own senses. And that's kind of where we leave it.
Right. I think what we did is the pendulum swung from like ball earthers, and then on the other side is flat earthers, right? And we went all the way over. And when we became flat earthers, we were unaware of the little season.
Right.
Okay. So first of all, so we thought the flat earth movement was genuine, was Christian, biblically based belief system. But what we didn't realize was there's so many shills and so much crap out there, and so much false
sidetracks. Yeah.
And even a lot of the Bible verses, that the 240 like flat Earth Bible verses, you go, I don't know, like some of those they're not very compelling if you actually look at all of them. You go, I don't know what that's even saying.
Mm-hmm.
It says the foundations don't move. It says the foundations of the earth are all out of place. So you kind of go, well, which one is it?
Mm-hmm. But not spinning and rotating around the sun either.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So we believe people like Flat Earth Dave, right? He seemed to believe in God in some way, but not the ball. Like he wasn't. He was talks about the Bible, but again, well, I think where we've landed, in light of the little season, is we are biblical cosmologists now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do believe water sits level. I do think we're on a plane. I know the sun and the moon move, and I believe in the firmament. Okay, but there's, as far as all the unanswered questions about 24-hour sun in Antarctica, I just go, I'm not sure who to believe when it comes to the science of 24-hour sun and that whole flat Earth experiment that just went on. I think Witsit gets it, and Jeranism, and you know, you get into that world, and all you're going to do is scratch your head. Go, who do you trust? These guys, are they all shills? Are they, you know? It starts. You don't know. There's Founded Earth Brothers, Josh, and there's Terry Eichner with Flat Out Truth.
We like a lot of Terry's stuff.
We really like some of these guys, but when it comes down to it, like, what do we believe about our realm? Well, I believe geographically we don't have any idea of even what's to the north.
Right. Yeah,
So,
to just adopt the flat Earth map, for example, like who can prove that, and where did that come from?
and it's, yeah. So you really start getting into, we don't have, like, we can read about the firmament, and that's where I would say you start. Is there's some basic understanding that we got a lid on this place.
Mm-hmm.
That's the firmament, and there's waters above, and that's very clear in Genesis 1 verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. God made the firmament which divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. If you just start with the word firmament, and you think about, like, what did God spend an entire day doing? And then ask yourself, if you can't describe the firmament, then you might as well just say you don't believe day 2 existed. Okay. Well, we do believe it existed. We do believe it's there. It was there beyond. It's referenced in the New Testament. Mm-hmm. Shine like the brightness of the firmament. Where is that? Where is that? Yeah. Look that up.
Stuff. Yeah.
Psalms talks about it after Noah's flood. The windows of the firmament were opened for Noah's flood. And the firmament is there to this day. So it's just one of those basic takedowns.
Here's all the firmament.
Yeah, let's show right there. So Daniel. Okay, I'm wrong. It's just Daniel. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. But still, it's beyond Noah's flood. So some people like to believe that after the flood, it dissipated. But
well, and a lot of them, back to my point, are working backwards from a lie. So they're saying, well, we know there's the stratosphere and the whatever, and this one's holding in the moisture, and that's working. That's beginning from the wrong place.
Right, and I think to me, it's starting from, like, as a little seasoner, this is so much easier because you realize it's the season of deception. Mm-hmm. So you hold things so much more lightly as far as what you used to believe or what you know to be solid in a season of deception. You go, oh, that very well could be part of the deception. It gets to a point where it hardly matters too much what they say. Like right now, we're under solar flares, and the northern lights are going off. And I go, well, I don't believe any of their crap about 93 million mile away sun. It's flaring. It's making the aurora borealis. I don't believe any of that. Mm-hmm. Right? So when it comes to understanding Daniel, when the sun stood still. Is that Daniel? Why am I saying Daniel? Yeah. Samuel.
No.
The sun stood still. I'm sorry.
It was
See, I was telling
during the
Beth.
battle.
I was telling Beth. This is not on the tip of my tongue anymore because it's like we've accepted it and we just don't always have to deal with it. But the sun stood still.
Joshua.
Thank you.
There we go.
For 24 hours. And then at one point, the sun goes back 10 degrees. These are things that are impossibilities with what they say. Mm-hmm. So right away, you just like take your arm and just clear the table of all the BS.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're left with a few things.
And put the books in the right order. The Bible on top. Not the science, not the history. No. Bible on top. Then work your way from what you see, what you know, what you read.
Right. And as far as like space and satellites and what goes up there, well, I believe there's technologies and there's abilities to that are beyond our knowledge. And so whether those are satellites, I don't call them satellites. They could just be drones with lights. They could be angelic entities. They could be a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. But there is no such thing as orbit. Like once you finally step out of this system and say, an object that's 93 million miles away is so big that it pulls the Earth in a rotation around it. You go.
When we have no real life version of anything continually spinning because of any relationship of weight or mass or whatever. And then it's already an imaginative act, right?
And okay, so let's just go with orbit for a while. So we're in orbit around the sun. The moon is in orbit around the Earth, yet the moon is in some sort of lock orbit. So it doesn't spin. It's just sort of all you ever see is one face. So you should just go like, wait, but like we're spinning. Every other thing is spinning. What is this lock orbit? And then just think of like something going around like this. It's called the third body problem, where the pull from of the Earth on the moon and the pull of the sun on the Earth, they would end up wobbling out. They can't even make a model where with a third body it works.
Let alone for 6 billion years to have worked, staying perfectly.
So this is when the theoretical science runs into this. They go, oh, there's something, we gray matter, black matter, it doesn't matter. Black water, they just make up something to say we don't have a clue, but it's still true.
But we're gonna call it this because we can see it happening. And you're like, wait.
So, but if you're a little seasoner, it's so much easier to go. That's a whole realm of science that is owned and operated by the satanic forces, and so. Whether it's the governments, the military, the medical systems, you see that they're all co-opted. They've all been taken in the little season, and they all are spewing lies. So it becomes a whole lot easier to sort of make peace with that.
Mm-hmm. And I think everybody has their different thing they're stuck on. Is it satellites? Is it whatever? And just for a moment, satellites, they have no light of their own. They have small solar panels that could potentially glint for a tiny second, but they could not stay lit. They also have no motor or anything. And so they're moving across the sky. Oh, it's because we're spinning. But they move at different rates, these lights that we see.
Well, there's geostationary satellites and there's orbiting satellites. So the ones that get in this like lock orbit and just stay in the same place. So they say, right? But you can't find those ones. And then the ones that are screaming across the sky. Just sit out for an hour on a clear night and just watch the sky. And watch those lights. And what happens to me, at least, is when I see them, I go, there's something organic about them. What I see often is lights go by, and often within close proximity to them, new lights start and head out. As if somebody's heralding and things are moving in different directions. I see lights turn super bright and then go dark. And I've even seen lights change directions, okay, which is an impossibility with satellites. So we have problems with what they've told us. What they are, I don't know. Are they good? Yeah. Are they evil?
And just allowing that to rest is another skill I think that you develop. Is part of all the lies is that even though it's a lying package of information that doesn't solve it all really, because they are able to hand over a body of information that you can sort of adopt and then shut your mind off. People get used to that. Oh, it's all explained. It's all, well, they know. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I'm no rocket scientist, but it does this. We stop doing that and say, we may not have an answer, but just because we don't have an answer, that doesn't mean we're going to just get that comfortable adoption of some bogus answer.
Right. In the end, it all comes down to what do you want? What do you want to believe about this world? You get choices. Is the Bible going to inform you about what is true? And if personally, for the two of us, we found that the Bible explains this season and this time perfectly, and that these answers suffice. We have enough. We sure want more, but we have enough to untangle from the lies, and that's really the most important thing. Is that first of all, we don't deny Jesus. I think that is the most basic thing for every person, is just to cling to that. But once we put this book on top, and then we see that this defies so many of the other books, then we really just ignore a lot of that stuff at this point.
And everyone should have a choice to make then. Are you really going to say this is just poetry and figurative and it was based on their silly understanding as early, Hebrew cosmology or whatever, but now we understand so much better?
Yeah.
You gonna do that?
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you want to do, the Word of God? Can we read these into, or you want to say something else?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Some of my favorites going on in Genesis 14, and God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from night, and let them be for signs and seasons, and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also, and God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. So these things are set in the firmament and inside the firmament. And I love how that, we don't know exactly how far away the firmament is, but it's not a billion light years away. The kind of stuff that says that, like, we're still seeing the light of stars that are now dead, but it's just that it takes so many billion light years for it to get here that it appears to be the same place in the sky. I mean, it's mind-bogglingly retarded to think about that. Yeah. And what and the power of light to shine like that from so far away and to appear in the same place year after year. I mean, it's really insane. But you don't even have to start arguing about what a light year is and if it's possible and the stages of stars and dark matter and whatever. You can just say, it is written, they were set in the firmament. You're set in the firmament. End of story.
Yeah.
I just love that. Even though I was a little sad to throw away my childhood pictures from the Hubble Space Telescope. These CGI beautiful images that we've all been numbed by. It takes a little bit to get over those and be like, yep, like so many other things, that is a beautiful pixel image created on someone's awesome computer program. Not that you don't zoom in and see amazing light shows, but it's not what they say it is. We right away got a Nikon P900 when we first started examining these things, and could see for ourselves the dancing starlight and what they actually appear as.
You get some of them and they're just multicolored, just red, blue, green, just like this sequence, and it looks like a light in water. But yeah. I believe most of them are angels actually singing. So and through water, I think there's light, frequency, and sound. So sounds, and so that's what I believe it is. But back to you were saying some of the stuff is laughably dumb that they want us to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll tell you about planets 26 billion light years away that rain diamonds and rubies
Mm-hmm.
or cotton candy.
Just
Doesn't matter.
rain them.
Like, this is literally what they're saying. It's like Stephen Hawking, the most brilliant mind, sitting there in his wheelchair, drooling, talking about the universe. Like, what I think they celebrate more heartily when they get us to deny God's word and believe complete idiocy, steaming piles of crap instead of God's word. It makes them happier to successfully do that to mankind. And so once you come out from it, you really do start to see how ludicrous their stories are. The Stephen Hawking, like that's just the perfect example of how dumb their stories are. So that's one thing we've gotten still. So okay, let me pause. Okay, so another thing, and this is a new realization for me. Yeah, one thing you got to do is once you wake up to the deception, you got to be ready to change your mind on things. And I had 3 or 4 different people all talk to me, very close succession. Ricardo, Dennis, and then Contend for Your Faith. And they had all challenged me about what I believed about the New Jerusalem coming down after the white throne judgment, after the lake of fire, versus that coming down upon Jesus' second coming. And then that's here now. I realized that that's what the Bible's saying. I realized that moment, that New Jerusalem, if you read in Revelation 21, 22, is about New Jerusalem, and I think we're done with the chronological sequence of events to Revelation 20. That's the end. And then 21 is just a vision of the New Jerusalem coming down, which I think came down with Jesus. So back how that impacts biblical cosmology. First of all, I believe the terrain of all the earth has changed since then. It says, and there was no more sea. I don't believe that meant there's no more ocean anywhere in the realm, that there's no sea within within the camp of the saints, the beloved city. And I do think that's the buffer from all the rest of the isles where we are, from them, is that there is that buffer. 12,000 furlongs, which comes out to 1,500 miles and 1,500 miles high. I believe that there's some sort of a veil over that, but that is right there in this flat earth, or in this flat realm, or in this realm, okay? Because of course land goes like this, so flat earth sounds dumb just on its face. In this realm that we live, that exists and is being kept from us. I wanted Perrin to do this project. I'm going to give him a project. I want him to collect all the different, please help me with this too. I want him to collect all the different literature out there that has legend or belief in a mythical land to the north. Okay. I want it to be as abstract as like or Tolkien's trilogy, where they sail away to the lands. I want it to be Narnia, series, go into the north. And again, I know they're controllers, but I'm saying George MacDonald, Back of the North Wind, Shangri-La, City of Gold, City of God, New Jerusalem. There's tons. Even Jules Verne has some stuff. we've got these books that I do believe are psyopy, but they're to take the idea and make it seem untrue. But what we can gather from that is that just because in fake 2025 nobody believes in anything but Santa Claus or doesn't believe in anything, the polar bears up there, just because of that doesn't mean we can't reach back into just the last few couple hundred years and see all that there is about mythical lands to the north, and say we know they lie to us about everything, and I believe that this is one of the big ones. So compiling all these things. So any ideas of different belief systems that have to do with that, if you guys comment on that, help us. Or I'd love him to read them, compile them, and put them in a 40-page essay format. Okay. See, I get to make my children now do my work for me.
Nice.
Yeah. But I think that'd be a good exercise for them anyhow.
There's a couple key differences with what you're talking about, though, than the sort of movements out there. So maybe you could clarify, like, first of all, you are not saying that we are past the Great White Throne.
No.
Which a lot of people out there are trying to do that. I think just like rapture, it's to demoralize and wear out the saints.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, clarify that.
Yes. I do believe the White Throne judgment is in our future. I just think that the chronological aspect stops at Revelation 20 because it's not. And then I saw this, and I saw the New Jerusalem come down. There, I believe, because there's so many things that pertain to that, where there's healing, there's outside are these. This is talking about once the New Jerusalem comes down, this will be a holy area that will operate like this. And outside, it actually says a lot to me about, how we have these, we can't quite figure out why some of the old world buildings are pagan. And I think what we might not have ever realized until now is that outside of that holy land, they were privy to all the new technologies, but did not have to bow their knee to Jesus. They were still freedom of choice. So they could still build incredible things, but it was not a godly building.
Yeah. And that bowing to Jesus, by the way, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but is one of the things that sticks out in Revelation 21 as, wait a minute, that's still happening? So sort of the bringing of it's not called tribute, bringing of something during the Feast of Tabernacles, or else they would be in a drought. When you read Revelation 21, I think somewhere there, it references that, and you're thinking, wait, I thought that was something they did during the 1,000-year reign. And that's part of the that's actually describing the same thing.
I can't tell you how many times I just listened to Revelation 20, 21, 22, repeat. And it got me. I was like, yeah. And Contend for the Faith has a good video on it. He does a much better job explaining it. And he had commented on one of my videos, and I went to his page, checked it out. Or no, not. It wasn't Ricardo. I'm sorry. It was Break the Hostility.
Oh.
Break the Hostility. I don't know his name. Contend for the Faith is Ricardo.
And some biblical reasons why we don't think the Great White Throne is past is because does not seem like Satan is in the lake of fire.
Yeah.
Seems like he's quite alive and well in our world of deception and evil everywhere. What else? There's other things to be sure of that.
I do think that after the lake of fire, like one thing, again, an old understanding that you got to take and just flush down the toilet is that this realm is not our home. The earth is not our home. Like, this earth is our home. This was always meant to be our home.
Yeah.
And it has been made new. And when after the Great White Throne judgment, we will live on this earth. This is always been our place, and that's not disappointing at all. When I see just back into the thousand-year reign what things were like, I go, oh my gosh, that sounds pretty great. Sounds pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we don't know a lot of how life will be after, but this is what God has made for us, and to be able to go to the New Jerusalem. Um, Again, I haven't even given up on that,
Oh, that's the other thing
not
I
by a
want you
long
to talk
shot.
about.
But
We're not now launching into launching and how we must go north, because we have some thoughts about that too. Even if it is there and veiled to us now, well, how would you
well,
verbalize that?
that I think I want to be very private about that because people can get quite excited.
Oh, sure.
Okay, um, that just is up here, and I'm going to keep it there.
Okay. I
Right now we have 6 children, and we'll always have 6 children. And that's great, but
well,
they're young, and
eh,
we have a lot of family to do. And but there are. Let's just back up 1 second.
yeah.
Let's picture life fake 600, 700 years ago. Um, is it okay to explore?
Yeah.
Is it okay to go see the world?
Oh yeah.
Is it okay to check out uncharted areas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people were like,
Oh, so brave, so
mm-hmm.
adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, can we do that now? You're a crackpot.
Yeah, right.
You know what?
It's all
F
been
that.
discovered.
We can explore all we want, and I do anticipate a lot of exploration in my future.
And I'll just say for me that I do react a little bit against the kind of like treasure map thing that we've got to solve and find, and this is what we all have to do and are called to do. I don't believe that. I don't see that clear call. I know Jesus says, "Come," but you know, come to me, all ye that are heavy laden. That's a spiritual coming to Jesus, right? There's ways that I think we are called to hold the faith and endure here, hope for the future, but also realize that uh, when life is over here, that might be the time we get to go to the New Jerusalem, and no time sooner if fire doesn't rain down first. And
Right.
I don't like I.
Well, I do believe that whatever pathways were there previously, they have been blocked and shrouded from us.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think there's so many mysterious trains that go north, paths that go north. I think even Madeline was talking about the Great Wall of China being a path to go to the north. Like that was a highway to get there. And I think a lot of these may have ended in certain either underground or maybe even portal type things. And you go, you say portal, and people think you've lost your mind. But I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what's real.
Yeah.
Sonic had those rings. He could just throw them. And throw
Oh yeah, where's that? Where's one of those?
Shoot, I don't know. It's not that I'm looking for portals, but I still think there's a very physical element that we're dealing with. That even the firmament, for example, I think it's still structurally sound. That God has made this to hold waters, and it's probably the most incredible piece of architecture ever. And it's most people don't even appreciate it, but it's. I do still think like physically that when the New Jerusalem comes down, it's not going to just defy all the laws that God has governing this land. It's going to have anti-gravity devices. And yes, we can say gravity, even if we're biblical cosmologists. That buoyancy and density.
Pulling down.
Right. Well, and even just that it's that there's density into this world. That so many things. Let's go back to biblical cosmology for a second. So many times, because you have a placeholder understanding for gravity as you're spinning, you're being pulled towards the core. You can hardly like break that. Mm-hmm. But what if you just go into a book world like Tolkien's book world, Middle Earth, and that map he's got, and just imagine like it's not a it's a plane, right? It's not on a plane. This where there's obviously we are on a planet here, but they're not. But they still have something that holds them down. They still have a light in the sky that moves around and comes back every day, and a moon that moves around and comes back. Like, can you imagine that? And you go, okay, I guess I can suspend my what I know to be true for this world and go, I can imagine that. And then slap yourself in the face and go, that's just what this world is like.
Oh wait, isn't that how we're living?
Yeah.
And that's where we quote my dad, well, I live every day as if it were flat.
Yeah.
I'm like, could you keep going with that?
Yeah. Oh no. Your dad's at the point where there's enough shenanigans. He's like, he might as well be a biblical cosmologist.
Yes.
And that's great. I think people get there slowly. And we got Thigh Guy coming, so we better go. All right.
That must be our cue.
Off we go.